Chapter 13, Section 10. Explore American Indians and Colonists in the American Revolution. The end of the French and Indian War in 1763 did not stop conflicts in the colonies. Many American Indians had fought alongside the French. When the French lost, they could return to Europe, but the disputes were not over for the American Indians. Even before the war ended, there were clear signs that a settlement between England and France would not settle things with the American Indians. In 1761, Chippewa chief Menewewa warned Englishman Alexander Henry in a speech. "Englishman, although you have conquered the French, you have not yet conquered us. We are not your slaves. These lakes, these woods and mountains were left to us by our ancestors. They are our inheritance, and we will part with them to none. Englishmen, your king has never sent us any presents, nor entered into any treaty with us. Wherefore he and we are still at war, and until he does these things, we must consider that we have no other father nor friend among the white men than the King of France." As Menewewa predicted, fierce battles over land continued on the frontier. In 1775, war between British colonists and Great Britain loomed. Neither side wanted the American Indians to fight against them in the coming war. The Continental Congress of the Colonies wrote a speech on July 13, 1775, to be delivered to the 6 Confederate nations: Mohawks, Oneidas, Tuscaroras, Onondagas, Cayugas, and Senecas. In the speech they said, "This is a family quarrel between us and Old England. You Indians are not concerned in it. We don't wish you to take up the hatchet against the king's troops. We desire you to remain at home and not join either side, but keep the hatchet buried deep." The Lenapes, also called the Delawares, pledged perpetual peace and friendship with the colonies, but that pledge did not last. When colonists killed their chief and other friendly Lenapes, many members of the tribe joined the British side. It was not long before both the colonists and the British saw other American Indians as allies. They especially wanted the powerful Iroquois Confederacy. Some of the Iroquois, led by Chief Joseph Brant, joined the war on the British side. Others joined with the colonists. For the Iroquois, the American Revolution became a civil war. Case study: New Jersey in the American Revolution. To learn more about who fought in the war, examine what happened in New Jersey. A large part of this colony is called the Crossroads of the American Revolution because both the British and the Continental armies spent much time in New Jersey. New Jersey had both patriots and loyalists. They often attacked each other. Because the colony had a long coastline, many colonists had boats. Patriots used them to raid British ships. Colonists mined New Jersey's iron deposits to make cannons and muskets. The local farmers supplied food for the soldiers. Washington's army spent 3 cold winters camped in the colony. New Jersey was central to the fighting. Countless raids, ambushes, and small battles took place there. There were major battles, too. The Battle of Monmouth was one of the largest of the war. In June 1778, 10,000 British troops were crossing New Jersey to New York. General Washington had 12,000 soldiers. He decided to attack. The day was very hot. Many soldiers died not from enemy fire, but from the heat. American Indians from New England fought that day. On the battlefield, black soldiers fought for the Patriots. A young Continental soldier named Joseph Plum Martin was there. He had signed up at the age of 15. He later described what happened. During battle, he saw a woman loading a cannon. A large shot fired from a British cannon ripped her skirts, but she was not injured. Martin was impressed that she continued to load and fire the cannon. The woman was Mary McCauley, also known as Molly Pitcher. She was not the only woman on the battlefield during the war. The battle ended when it grew too dark to shoot. That night the British moved on. This was the last key battle in New Jersey, but the war dragged on for several more years. When the war finally ended, life changed for the people who fought in it. Joseph Plum Martin returned home to Maine. The British and many of the African Americans who fought with them left the country. The New England Indians went home too, but for the many American Indians who fought with the British, the conflict was still not over. Great Britain had tried to keep settlers out of the Western territories, but now the United States government was in charge. The Northwest Ordinance of 1787. Some years after the war ended, the U.S. Congress passed a law called the Northwest Ordinance of 1787. It was a plan for the young country's western lands. It had a Bill of Rights for American settlers. There would be freedom of religion and the right to trial by jury. It outlawed slavery. It divided the land into townships with schools. It was a plan for self-governing and statehood. Thousands of settlers headed west. The large number of new settlers was not good for the American Indians who lived in those lands. The laws said that the Indian lands would never be taken from them without their consent, but the settlers did not agree. In spite of their long fight to keep their homes, the American Indians were unable to hold on to their land.